Okay, this is a Space brand emergency survival bag, and Adventure Medical makes the same one or a similar one, so either one of those is fine. What I did to decrease the bulk, this is basically a Forenso lens, and I'm using that as a compact alternative to a magnifying glass. Now, a magnifying glass would be totally fine. I just find this is a little bit more compact, and what I do is I just keep it with this, and so the bag actually protects this lens from bending or getting damaged. And it comes in a little case. I got this at REI, and that'll give you a nice magnifying capability if you needed to get, say, a splinter that you couldn't see out or something like that. That's going to help quite a bit. And then the last item in this unit is the emergency CPR kit, and we can break that open, go through the contents of that. There's some instructions, although I'm going to say if you needed to do CPR, that's not the time to be pulling out the instruction manual, but certainly nice to have. But there's a nice little survival guide for life-threatening emergencies. So something you could certainly read when you have some downtime, but that's basically, this is a kit from Adventure Medical Kits. We'll talk about pre-made kits in a little bit, but that's a very nice little guide. There's a face shield for doing CPR and rescue breathing. And then there's a biohazards bag, which is a good thing to have, I guess. There's an antiseptic towelette, and more importantly, a pair of gloves. I don't know that I'm going to be using that towelette or the biohazard label, but it's certainly nice to have. But the gloves are a must. And then the last thing, if you're treating someone who's having chest pain and you think it might be cardiac in nature, and you're in a remote wilderness setting or in a tactical deployed setting where you need to at least initiate care, probably one of the most useful things you can do is to give that person some aspirin. So that's why this pack of aspirin sits in the CPR emergency bag. Okay, the next unit, there's 2 rolls of tape. Now I've included a roll of 1-inch heavy cloth athletic tape. That's a nice robust tape to have out in the field. And then the other tape that I have is a roll of 3M micropore tape. That's a great tape to have as well. It's called micropore, and it basically is breathable. And the other nice thing is it's very easy to tear and turn into steri strips if you need some extra steri strips. The other nice thing about this cloth athletic tape is you can turn this into butterfly bandages, and I had a video on how to do that, so I'll give you the link on that. This is some liquid bandage made by New Skin, and this is basically a nice little aerosol container. The only thing I don't like about it is a little bit on the bulky side, but if I can find a smaller one, I'll certainly replace it and put this in a home kit. But this is great for some minor cuts and abrasions. It is a spray that basically gives a layer of pseudo skin, if you will. So that's a nice option to have. The other spray container here is benzocaine burn spray. Certainly very helpful if someone gets a bad sunburn or a minor thermal burn from, say, a campfire or something like that. But this is a numbing medicine, benzocaine. Last thing in this little bag are 2 small vials of super glue, and these are probably all you need for a single application of super glue for a cut. You have to make sure you pick the right cut for these. But I like these because they're small and they're the right size, I think, for the kit, as well as that's the amount that you typically use when you're using super glue for a cut. And I have 2 of them, and what I did is I gently bent the end into a half round so that it fits in the little pill vial. And these pill vials, I think, are good for protecting these so that they don't get broken open by just wear and tear in the bag. All right, guys, lips, eyes, and teeth. So this is a tube of Sport Lip Balm from REI with an SPF of 30. All right, this should be more than adequate for taking care of most eye injuries. You know, if you get a foreign body in your eye, you might want to try and irrigate it. You can use these eye drops or the eye cup. And in the dental kit, there are some Q-tips, and you could moisten those and help get a foreign body out of the eye. We can talk about that in the future if there's some interest. But there's your basic eye kit. Some eye drops and an eye cup. Now you might say this is not enough eye drops, and that may or may not be the case. But remember, you can also use just clean water. You don't need to boil it, but if you've got some nice, clean, fresh water, you can use that in the eye cup to rinse out an eye. This is a nice compact dental kit which gives you a lot of capabilities. Let's go over that. Now you might say this is a little excess and a little bit of a big package. I'm going to argue that if you've got someone with dental pain and you're able to help them, they're going to think you're a god. So this is a nice little kit to have. Let's go over the contents here. So there's a dental mirror, and trust me, you're going to want to have something like that so you can see what's going on. This is some dental wax, typically used to protect braces from cutting or abrading the inside of the mouth. It can also be used to cover and protect a fractured tooth or a sharp edge of a tooth and make that a little bit more comfortable till you can get to a dentist. There's some 2x2 gauze pads in there, and I can talk about the use of those later, but you can roll these up and make a nice little dental roll for exposing a tooth, keeping it dry while you're working on it. There's 4 Q-tips, applying medications. You can also take a small piece of cotton off the end of a Q-tip, roll it up, soak it in some clove oil, and use that to treat a tooth. Here's a small emery board. Now I actually got this out of a little hotel manicure kit, which is perfect size for this kit, but you can also just take any emery board and just cut it in half, and that's all you need. But if you needed to gently smooth a chipped edge of a tooth, this is also another great thing to have. There's some xylactin, so that's good for canker sores, good pain relief with that. This is called Dent Temp, and I'll have a little better picture of that that I can roll in here. And there's the little applicator, but this is a one-step. You can use this to cover a cavity or a fractured tooth, or if someone has a crown that falls off, you can gently clean the crown, apply a small amount of this, and cement that crown back in place. That'll keep it secure while you're on your trip, and it won't cause any problem for the dentist when you get back into town. There's a very small pack of dental floss, a small vial of clove oil, and last but not least, a black tea bag. Now, these are helpful. The tannic acid actually is helpful for treating a sore tooth, and you can get that damp and then pack that in the corner of the mouth near the tooth, and the tannic acid helps. I can write a little list on sort of emergency dental care, but there you go. That's the dental kit.